Yes. Hello. Good morning, everyone. How are we feeling? Good? Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an interactive session, yeah? So let's get into that energy a little bit. My name is Ron Simpson. I do weird shit and I'm short, but it's usually successful and fun. So let's talk about that. Oh, they put another picture of me. Great. Today we're going to talk about brand strategies and what kind of weird shit you can do to have branding work towards growth. Usually it's an expenditure. Right now we're going to see how can you actually make money off of this stuff. So that's the main idea. First of all, welcome. I promise you it's going to be ridiculous, but hopefully it's also going to be a little bit valuable. That's the idea. You're going to get a look inside of my brain, which just goes left, right, up, down, and I tried to structurize it for you guys. If you have any questions, we have some time at the end, but also just feel free to interrupt me at any given time. I really don't mind. Cool? Cool? Yes, okay, that's the energy I'm looking for. So what are we going to do today? I'm going to tell you a little bit of an introduction why I'm on the stage. I'm going to tell you a little bit about branding in general, because I have a feeling that a lot of people miss the endless possibilities that it has. We're going to talk a little bit about inspiration, and I'm going to show you the weirdest strategy for branding in the world. Deal? Yeah, okay, we'll go. So my name is Ron. JFK called me the king of concepts, which is by far the most awkward thing someone has ever called me. My mom calls me Pancho, but you can call me anytime. That was the last and the first worst joke. Let's just get it out of the way. I have a really weird track record because I just love doing what I do, and every time I have an idea, I do it. It doesn't have to be compliant with the idea before. So some people know me as the avocado guy or the Red Bull guy or the Girls of DJs guy or the whatever guy. I just did a bunch of weird stuff and put that together. That's a CV. And my first question would be, do we actually know what branding is before we start talking about how to use it? Because I thought I knew. I actually studied this stuff. And then after a while, I found out there's so much more to it that they don't tell you. And that's where the money is, right? That's where the gold is. All the stuff you don't see, that's where it is. So let's just check who in this room feels like they know what branding is and how to use it. Cool. First day for everyone. So the definition of it, this is kind of a funny thing. I love to go online and just check what the official thing is, right? Like, what is a brand? Well, it says a brand is a product or service that has a unique and eminently recognizable identity that distinguishes itself from, well, you can read, right? It's that. And then the consumer associates that product name, but also the label or the packaging or whatever comes with it, and usually attributes value or other things, but it translates to feelings. They feel something about it, and that makes it a brand, right? Now, branding is simply the application of those rules. So a brand and branding obviously are not the same thing, but you can apply these rules in a million different ways, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. Some of them are very, very well known. We all understand that if you design something, that's part of branding, right? We know we can use colors, and we know that those colors actually have something to say. We also know that if you use the wrong font, no one can read shit. So that doesn't help. So especially if your brand moves into, let's say, billboards or advertising or to small screens, that's what happens. So all the luxury fashion brands actually moved away from quite spectacular logos into very readable, kind of boring font logos because it didn't work on cell phones. And no one thought of that when they were making the logos, which is obviously why rebranding is a constant process. Now, there's also a little bit weirder things like tone of voice. Tone of voice could definitely be a brand. It could be very funny, it could be smart, it could be rude, it could be whatever you want it to be. Obviously, that smell thing is amazing. It's one of the best examples I could find. But if you walk into an Abercrombie and Fitch, or if you walk into a certain hotel that uses the same smell every single time, that is definitely part of that brand. Sound the same. I'm pretty sure every single one of us has been on a couch and you've heard doo-doo, right? That's part of branding as well. So there's all these ways of doing it. There's packaging if you make products. There's logos that we always use. And there's interior. Now, these are just a simple few. There's way more than this stuff that meets the eye, which I like. Seth, who's probably like the Mac Daddy of marketing, right? he said something which always stuck with me, and that's every interaction in any form is branding because it makes people feel something. So when you look at the hotel industry or any other hospitality industry, we're talking about service or the way you're being helped or the way doors open. It doesn't really matter. All of that is part of your entire brand because people feel something about it, which I think is nice. So the possibilities are endless. The one trick I want to show you today is the difference between visible branding and invisible branding. And these things are quite interesting. Now, water to me is the one that got away. We all have a project, I think, that you're like, I wish I would have. I cannot imagine someone standing up and saying, well, the one thing we need the most in life, I'm going to sell that. You can get it for free anywhere, but I'm going to sell it. And every single day, there's a new water brand coming out, which still blows my mind. And let's be honest, I think 70 to 80% of the market just tastes water, right? So the difference between these on a product level aren't that big. It's the story, it's the packaging, it's the brand, and what it makes you feel, it's the status of it, it's all of it except for the water almost, which I think is very interesting. So these things obviously scream different things. The one to your right obviously screams cheap, affordable, supermarket, right? And the more you move towards the weirder stuff, it starts getting classy or a little bit more expensive, refined, sophisticated, all of these things. So if it works on a water bottle, it sure as hell should work on a hotel, right? Yeah. Now, what is invisible branding? Does anyone have a clue? Could you give me an example of what you feel is invisible branding? The touch of it. Yeah, the touch of it is a good thing because you can't see that, but you can feel it. The stories about your brand usually aren't visible, right? Let's say there's a new hotspot in town or you have a restaurant where all the superstars eat and everybody knows about it, but you're not putting that on all your communication. You're not going to booking.com and saying, this is the place where everyone eats. So there's all these weird, untouchable things that really add up together, which I think is fun. I brought a few very ridiculous examples. So the first one is this. Which store is this? I can't hear you. Maybe we can. Apple, right? Yeah. So the Apple store is quite interesting because if you take away all the logos, you still know where you are. You would immediately recognize that place. And even if you take a photo when you're there and you only carve out a little bit of the interior, people know where you are. So that's a very strong branding based on the interior. If we look at IKEA, I think it's probably the best and well-known branding experience there is. First of all, where's IKEA from? Right? So what are these colors? The Swedish flag, right? And they are unapologetically non-compromising. They just say, we keep Swedish names. Fuck it. Everything is unpronounceable to you. Great, have fun. And we accept that, and we make fun of that, and that becomes culture, and it becomes memes, and it becomes online engagement, and it becomes games and fun, and all this type of stuff. So they really went all in on this idea. Do we know what the color combination of blue and yellow together represents? What does that towards a consumer? What would you say? It's actually cheap. It's cheap, literally. So in Holland, there's this store called Zeeman, which does all the basics. They have the same colors. It's not cheap in a bad way. It just means really affordable, the easiest place to enter. Don't worry about anything. You're all welcome here. So I think the layers in this thing says so much about IKEA that they do it very well. Now, who has ever heard of a brand called Supreme? Let's not do dinosaur. Let's go all out today. Okay, cool. So for the people who haven't heard of it, it's a streetwear brand from New York. And they're mostly known for being like these, punk rock motherfuckers, really, basically. They just do everything that's not allowed, that's illegal. They do billing on the streets. They steal pictures of Kate Moss and they just throw it on there. And they did all of that to create stories. Those stories created credibility. That credibility created an attraction like no other. Lady Gaga, Mike Tyson, all of these people calling them, can we be in your next campaign? Kermit the Frog in their campaign for free, right? So what is going on there? They made something untouchable, very, very cool. And then they did the impossible. It's literally a streetwear brand for skateboarders. Now, look at this picture. They took their logo and their branding, and they put it on absolutely everything in the world and sold it out. And when I mean sold out, I'm talking there's kids all over the planet just waiting till it's 12 o'clock, clicking, selling it out in minutes. And they're making gamillions, right? They've been bought by Louis Vuitton. This is a big brand. And if you look closer, you'll see really weird stuff. There's like nunchucks, there's baseball bats, there's helmets, there's like gardening equipment. Why would you ever buy gardening equipment from a skateboard brand? Because they made it cool. In fact, they made it so cool, they also started doing ridiculous things. What is ridiculous, you ask? I'm glad you asked. They did a helicopter and sold it. They did dirt bikes, they did Ferraris, and they'll just drop 5 of these, right? This has nothing to do with trying to make money on the front end. I'm going to explain the strategy later. But my absolute favorite is the Supreme brick. This is a brick, a regular brick, and it just has a logo on it. What does it cost to make a brick? 15 cents. What do you think it went for? $90. What do you think 10 minutes after it sold out it went for? $3.50. Day later, $900. We're talking serious brand love, right? People want it so bad. It has nothing to do with skateboarding at all. It's just creating this attention towards it, which I think is fun. So those were some good examples. Here are just some shitty examples. There's so many of them. We're in Amsterdam, so I had to do at least one Dutch one, right? There's this company that has the best parallel in the world. They made a commercial, and that commercial was literally the best commercial Holland has ever made. It got every single award years in a row. 10 years in a row it was winning this. And it was called Even Apeldoorn Bellen, which translates to just call a place called Apeldoorn. It's a city, right? Now, the only problem was they made a concept which was you get in hilarious trouble, stuff that really you really don't want to happen. Like you're in an acupuncture session on the top floor and fire breaks out and you have to jump out of a window into like a firefighter's blanket. You don't want this to happen. And obviously, it's an insurance company. And they came up with 1 million of these, and then the slogan was, just call Apeldoorn. The only problem was, no one knew this company was in Apeldoorn. So when I was at school, this was the case where they showed this is the most brilliant concept in the world, and then after that, the branding sucked because the slogan didn't make any sense to anyone and didn't catch on, and they spent millions on it and did all the research on how people registered the brand and the increase of awareness and all that. It just totally backfired. So it's the best case Holland ever had, but it still sucks. Twitter, which was $1 billion brand, got bought and someone's ego made it X. Who thinks that's a good idea? I rest my case. And then there's the weird thing that happened to Prince. We all know Prince, right? He. Come on, yeah, okay. So Prince was actually his original name. His mother named him that. Then he was in a bad record deal. He had to get out, but they actually, the record label had the rights over the name Prince, which was weird. So he lost his first name. Then he decided to rebrand into this, which is a symbol. So how do you announce him when he's going on stage? Here's, right? And so they started calling him the symbol. He didn't want that either. He just wanted to be a symbol. And so the world named him Tafkap, the artist formerly known as Prince. That's what happens if you brand in a way that people can't use. Still a legend, none of that, but cool. Then there's ugly. People do branding, which is kind of simple. Then they think they're kind of cool. October 6th, 6 days later, the entire internet blew up. Everyone thought it was hideous, so they reversed this entire idea and had to rebrand all their stores again. Amazing. Kia, I have no clue what that says, but something. And then, I mean, there's just, I could show you 1 billion of these. It's not really about that. It's just that it can go horribly wrong. Now, what is this power of a brand that we want to use when it comes to this? Imagine Nike, right? Nike makes you feel a lot of things. It's an athletic brand, but it makes you feel a lot of things. We watch the Super Bowl commercials. We watch all of this stuff. Now, if you close your eyes and I would tell you Nike is going to open a hotel, you know exactly what it would feel like, right? It has to be cool. It has to be big and bold, and it's going to be, oh, you get your imagination understands the brand, and therefore it can create an idea in your brain. That's it. Now let's turn it around, and I'm not here to bash anyone. I'm just using examples, right? So let's say the Marriott is going to release a shoe. Any idea what that would look like? It's kind of tough, right? So some brands are like holistic. They can do anything, like a Supreme or a Nike. They can make anything, and you understand what it's going to be. And some brands are quite narrowly branded, and so they don't walk or work well in other situations in your imagination. You have to show people that. So I brought a few examples of branding that I think are very interesting. The first one is mono hotels. If I say mono hotels, does anyone know what I mean? Or should I explain? Yes, okay. So mono is a trend of doing one thing very well, right? And this started in retail. Way back in the day, you would go to a big-ass department store and you could buy everything you wanted, right? Now, if you want sneakers, you go to a sneaker store. So that simple thing, that sneaker store does one thing very well. We understand that. It's clear communication. It's clear branding. It's clear marketing. We trust it. The quality goes up. Let's do it, right? So the retail started with it. Then it went into hospitality. Now, I'm one of the original founders of the Avocado Show. The Avocado Show is a mono restaurant. It does one thing very well. And we figured that one out. Actually, mono restaurants are really old because the burger place is a mono restaurant, the pizzeria is actually a mono restaurant. But once it got conceptual, truffle restaurants, avocado restaurants, that's when we really start to see this trend. Now, hotels, if you ask me, mono hotels is where the money's at right now, because there's a whole bunch of themes that exist that have gigantic user bases. Like how many people play games or gamers, right? That's a lot of people. As a matter of fact, did you know that all of Hollywood, all the movies in the world, and all of the music in the world combined times 3 is the revenue of gaming? It's 3 times bigger than all the other entertainment. That's absolutely fucking nuts. How many of you have gaming in your hotels? Right? So there's an opportunity there, and that's just one theme. Then there's sports, then there's music. There's all this type of stuff that comes with problems for people at home. They can't just game all night on big screens with 5 gaming chairs, but they want to. They can't just jam and play music if you live in, a room or an apartment in Amsterdam. You can't do that all the time. But you want to. You want to jam all night. You want to play that guitar. You want to slap those drums. Why not? And so Mono Restaurant actually says, what if we took a hotel where obviously you can sleep and do all the other stuff, but give it a purpose? The purpose is come and game here, or come and play music here, or we have all the sports in the world. It's literally a matter of time before the Hotel Padel shows up, right? I mean, it's going to happen. It's a proven concept. It already works. It simplifies your branding. It simplifies your marketing, and it makes everything much easier to communicate. You like games? Yeah, come here. That's sort of how it works. We had the same thing. You like avocados? No, go away. You like avocados? Yes, eat here. So simple, right? That's where branding really steps in. Now, gaming hotels, they really just give you a setup. It's no more than that. People coming there, they don't need all the super fancy interior or music in the background or whatever little details we're doing. It's actually quite simple. You just do this. And you can refurbish really old hotels that don't work very well at destination locations and have all the fun in the world. Got it? Yeah, almost. Cool? Yeah, okay. That also translates into an older demographic. You can do arcade hotels. You can do, Disney has the biggest sport hotel in the world. Don't know if you've ever seen this. This is absolutely nuts. And music hotels just puts extra padding, and you can just play whatever you want in your room. So there's all these reasons why it works. It has a clear target audience, has a clear style demand. It has proven branding, which is very interesting because you don't have to think of anything. You just put the right things in place and you're done. It's self-explanatory. It's a mega business case. New style of leisure. It offers returning customers, and it's quite simple in marketing because your branding is your marketing, which is actually amazing. Now, Co-branding when it comes to hotels is starting to become a bigger and bigger thing as well. It's not just a little PR thing, it really is growing. Now, what does that mean? Pillows did a Vogue room, there's Fashion Week, there's all types of positioning that you can do to say, hey, I'm willing to put my brand name, just like they do in fashion, and combine it. So Hotel de l'Europe did a collab with Amsterdam Fashion Week. The Social Hub has a branding and a positioning that's really all about being inclusive and all of these type of things. So it makes perfect sense that during Gay Pride in Amsterdam, they become their headquarters. And they actually blow that up, make it bigger, and really use collaborations as branding. It's the same association as, I don't know, famous people coming to have dinner or sleeping at your hotel. It's just as important as cool brands coming to your hotel or working with you, the type of brands that you can put out there. Now, there's Zuma and Louis Vuitton. There's all these, I can go on and on and on. These are just a bunch of fashion things. But you can also think about any other collab you can do. So in the Adam Tower, there's the Sir Adam Hotel. They all work with, I think it's Marie something, the soap brand, right? But you could do that with Xenology. You could do that with whatever. And people who love Xenology, they have a profile. They buy certain books. They wear certain clothes. They love certain things. So if you put that hotel in the same mix, then they'll get attracted to your brand, which is great. And on and on and on and on. So is branding something you can figure out as a formula? No, it isn't. It's basically like walking into the supermarket and seeing all of these cool ingredients, and all you have to do is figure out your signature dish. Branding is not about understanding which 25 things you can actually apply. It's about realizing which ones are relevant for you. If you cook with too many ingredients, it usually doesn't work out well. Just look at the Italians, right? 3 ingredients, boom, and it works, and well. That's how you start. You just find what are the 3 things that really work for me. Not every hotel needs a sound or a tone of voice. Not every hotel needs its own color or whatever. It could be all types of stuff that you do. So, the pros and cons when it comes to big chain brands versus smaller boutique hotels, that's when the fun starts. Now, I love looking at other industries and figuring out what can we learn, steal from them, and then get it into our own, right? When we started the Avocado Show, for people who don't know, that is a franchise by now, right? It's in 6 countries, we do a bunch of them. When we started it, that was never the idea. We just wanted one little place. So to do the interior and the branding on it was totally different. I was like, oh, we only have one. I really wanted a pink velvet couch. And my partner said, you're nuts. I said, I know, but it's one couch. I mean, come on. Yeah, you're right. Just put it there. The second we started expanding, we're like, oh, man, we really can't do 10 pink velvet couches. It's just going to be so costly and it doesn't work, so you already die. So having a small thing, having a boutique thing actually allows you to be way more creative in branding, but having a larger brand offers scale, right? So now you can actually get the cost down on things and do things that smaller places can't do. So they both have their things. But how does that create growth, right? That's the biggest question I think there is. Now, if you look at brands in general, they all chase one thing. That. Do we all know what brand love is? Let me give you an example. How do you feel about supermarket ice cream? How do you feel about Ben & Jerry's? Right? That feeling, literally just thinking about it gives smiles on people's faces. That's brand love. Ben & Jerry's has a lot of brand love. Red Bull has a lot of brand love. Nike has a lot of brand love. There's just these things that's not just preference, it goes beyond that. People stand for it, they want it, they'll accept it, they'll steal anything that has the logo on it. That's the level you want to reach. Steal my shit, literally, and I'll show you later why. Then there's storytelling. If you do branding right, people share things, right? So we did a little research at the restaurant, And the Avocado Show has amazing food styling. There's no logo on that. It's definitely part of our branding, but there's no logo on it, right? It's just food, actually. Over 90% of everyone that eats at our place takes pictures. Do you know where those pictures end up? Friends, family, social media, right? All for free, because it's worth showing someone something like that. Like, whoa, I've never seen a poke bowl like this or a burger like this. I'm going to show the world or my friends or my family or whatever. Now, you only need one of those. You don't need a room or an entire lobby or an entire hotel full of story-making things. Just a few will actually work. So if you don't have all the money in the world and you want to do it with plates, pick the coolest plates in the world and get IKEA glasses. They won't care about the IKEA glasses. They'll talk about the plate that they've never seen before, right? So this is kind of an interesting thing. Once people start telling stories, that's invisible branding. They don't pull up a logo and start talking about that, right? They share whatever it is that they felt right there. When I used to work at Bacardi, I had the weirdest job in the world. I used to do the nightlife stuff and all the sponsoring that was at events and festivals, right? And I had a boss, and my boss told me, we need to make a whole pack. We're going to do Bacardi at Festival X, so now we need, cups and back then ashtrays, and we need all types of stuff, right? And then he said the magic words, if you ever design something that they don't steal, you're fired. I was like, what? He's like, yes, we want them to want everything we make. And I was like, that's a bit weird, but fine, And then I said, why? And he said, can you imagine if someone steals a Bacardi glass and takes it home, and then for the next 5 years drinks water out of it, what the worth is of that? And that's just the glass, right? Or let's say something weird like an ashtray. Now, an ashtray is sort of a negative thing because of smoking and all of that, but for smokers, it's a good time, right? You're outside, they share a moment together, they have fun and whatever. All the time, your logo is when they're having fun. And so making something that they are supposed to steal is a really good idea. Make sure they steal something. Can you imagine going to a hotel and you pay quite a lot of money for an amazing room, and that pillow is cool, and then on the other side of the pillow is, don't worry, you can steal this. That's worth more than putting your logos on the pen, the notepad, the whatever is in that room, right? Or make the coolest ashtray in the world, or make the coolest whatever, something that they just take home. And from that moment on, you're part of their most intimate place, which is home, for a few bucks. The average spend also goes up, right? We've seen if you have better packaged snacks or better menus or any type of branding that really works for you, people tend to spend more. So that one makes sense. But if you have a brand like Supreme has a brand, even if you have 1% of that, that means you can now expand your offering. You can start doing things you never imagined. You could make your own snacks, you can make your own drink, you can make your own limoncello, you can make your own whatever it is that you want now because you're a brand. You're not just a location. You're not just a hotel. It's quite hard to understand, but it took me a while as well, but like Pharrell Williams is not an artist. He is a brand. He can design hotels. He can release music. He can do Louis Vuitton. He can do his own clothing brands. He can do absolutely anything he likes because that name is not the name of an artist doing a hotel. It's a brand name doing a collaboration with a hotel or with fashion or whatever. So you can grow from whatever you are into the ultimate form, which is brand, which allows you to put it on anything you like. And we already do that kind of stuff, but we keep it small, right? Signature dishes, signature cocktails, named after the place, whatever. Think bigger. You can't steal a cocktail, you buy one. So what is it that people would actually love to own or to have or to show off? Now, I was doing some research, and I was hoping you guys could help me. I could not find a single hotel brand that has content that is so good online, social, that it's immediately recognizable without a logo. Is there any hotel that does that? Do you know of any? Help me out. No? Citizen M? On a content level? Okay, close. I work a lot with Citizen M, and I really love the brand, but I don't exactly know if I would agree with that, because the most recognizable thing of Citizen M is its interior, and therefore, if that's in a video, you'll know where it is. But I'm talking like content style, like Red Bull, again, has a content production house. If you see a Red Bull film about anything, you absolutely immediately recognize that. You recognize Nike commercials. You recognize all this type of stuff, which I think is interesting, because that's where the biggest recognition is. If we're talking about the biggest reach and awareness, it's on social media right now. But they move through it at 300 miles an hour. So how do you make sure you're being recognized without them having to read your name? That is a really big opportunity that I think any big brand in the hotel industry could jump on and say, hey, we're going to make content that is so recognizable, that is so owned by us, you will always know that it's this place. Now, I told you we're going to pick a weird strategy, and the one today is the second worst joke of the entire day. I'm really sorry for this word. Hotel couture. Now, do we understand how haute couture works, the fashion industry? It's the oldest trick in the book, right? You've seen a fashion show in your life on TV, or you've been there or whatever, right? Have you ever in your life bought something that you saw on a catwalk? No. You know why? It's not made to be bought. That's not the goal of a dress on a catwalk. The entire branding idea behind it is do some ridiculously cool shit, have everyone see it, be interested in it, and then buy sunglasses, perfume, or underwear. Now, this very simple model is almost applicable to any single industry. Now, in this case, right, you simply demand attention by doing something impressive or memorable. That can cost money. Usually, fashion shows cost money. After that, it creates stories. Oh my God, did you see, I don't know, Miley Cyrus walking in the Versace dress on the something something, right? There's no way that that dress will ever have return on investment, ever. But it builds something else. It builds attention. That creates stories. It builds interests, and those things manifest into brand love, right? Now, all you have to do is take that attention and convert it straight into your bestsellers. That's what fashion does. So if you look at retail, there's an old saying in Dutch that says, you need to make pineapple jam to sell strawberry jam. Because now they think, oh, pineapple jam, that's new. They go to the store and then they go, I'll just take strawberry. Because that's what 90% of people do. That's why every pizzeria has a margarita. They also have a super truffle deluxe, handmade, super spin, whatever, something, something. And then you go there, and then they order the margarita. That's why we have classic cocktails on the menu. That's why, it just keeps going on and on like this. So ask yourself, do we understand what our bestseller fundamentals are? What do we actually want to sell? And do we do something so outrageously interesting that people pay attention to our brand, even though we've been selling the same product for 20 years? Can you do something that is so outrageously interesting that attracts people and then puts them right back into bestseller fundamentals? That's all fashion does, all day, every day. And it really, really, really works. And so, moving on, a little bit of homework, just a question for yourself. As I said, all these different things, you don't need to use them all. 1, 2, maybe 3 is enough. So next time you walk around work, it's like, what is the visible and invisible branding I can add? What are we missing here? What am I not feeling, which I am feeling for other brands? Just look into your personal interests and then look at work. Walk around. Is there one thing in a hotel room you would steal? If the answer is no, then come up with something. Figure out which one it is. Make it affordable enough and cool enough, and you're done. is there a feeling? Is there a story that should be created about the place? What is missing? Right? And just figure that one out and start small. Start doing 1 or 2 of these things and have fun with it. All of a sudden, you'll see your team's going to love it. Social's going to have content. People are going to have stories. The staff is going to talk about this. It just buzzes slowly, but then you just rack it up. Do more and more and more of these things. And before you know it, your brand gets attention and your product gets sold. That's the entire idea. So, thank you. Any questions about anything? Marketing, branding, ideas, stories, examples? There's a mic there, sorry.
Have you stolen something from a hotel?
Absolutely.
What?
A plate. Well, the last thing I stole was a plate. I steal a lot of shit. But, was it a hotel? I don't know if it's part of a hotel. The last thing I stole was a plate, and it was in Paris, at a restaurant called Miss Co. I don't know if anyone knows it. Really good branding place. And they have plates with animals on it. So they don't do, how do you say that, symmetrical styling. They all have different plates. And I was just like, this is so cool. I had a great night there. I stole it, then I tipped the waiter like, you know, whatever it was worth, and then I just went home. Now, my house is a different thing. I love design and aesthetics, so I have a really cool set of plates, and everything is in order, but now I have one weird plate. And that thing makes me smile every time I open the cupboard, and I think about, oh yeah, I remember that night in Paris. And that I thought was funny. I've stolen, there's a Piet Boon hotel in Katzand. Can't remember what, like Hotel Katzand or something it's called. They have some restaurants there, and one of them is Japanese style, and they have a cocktail bar, and they have the coolest shot glasses I've ever seen, ever. -1, because that's at my house. But to me, that really means something. I don't steal it because I don't think it's cool or because I'm an annoying guy. I steal it because I think that's its new home. It now belongs to me. It's part of this memory that I want to have, which gives me everything I love about that place, which is also part of the story that I tell everyone, like, yo, have you ever been to Katzand? It's like the furthest you can drive in this country. It's absolutely nuts, but it's worth it. The hotel's cool, blah, blah, blah. And they have this amazing Japanese restaurant. And if you go, definitely steal another shot glass for me. Stories, that's how they get told, right? So I really love that. And I think we all know the basics when it comes to stealable branding. If a hotel would stitch your name on a towel, right, you're happy. It doesn't put your name on anything, you're happy. We have egos. It just works that way. So the basic version of that is when you get into your hotel room and the TV says, "Hello, Mr. Simpson, glad that you're here." Okay, cool. Now, that is a digital application anyone can do. If you handwritten a letter to me, that already is something that I have trouble throwing away because it has value now, right? And if you make a little hand towel or you make a little hat against the sun or whatever that says my name, I'm taking that thing home. I'm telling the world about it because, hey, cool, look at this, and then I'm taking it home. Now, that could be as simple as a €4.50 investment for a cap, right? If you're not selling it, but producing it, you're talking about very low numbers. You don't have to make money off it, so you just pay production. If you could have someone take your brand home and tell it to the world for €4.50, wouldn't you? I think so. Cool. Any other questions? Yeah, okay. I get to, yeah.
So a follow-on from that.
There's a...
Just a quick follow-up from that. When you said steal, I thought you meant in the room. I didn't realize you're in the restaurant. Have you ever been caught stealing anything? I know you said
Yes.
you're giving money back, but...
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been caught stealing stuff. I've also, like, I've stolen stuff also like this. Right? Because it's not about the stealing for me. It's about the memory thing, and I'm willing to pay for it. That's not the point. The point is I want that thing, and usually there's not a way in place in which I can buy it, right? And so it becomes that. Now, the only thing is, it's all strategy. So when you sit in a meeting and you think, okay, how many cups can we have stolen this month? If that is your goal, make it happen, right? And I think if you understand the value of what it means when that stuff happens, it's good. I usually run into people that says like, yeah, I'm sorry, I really like this plate. Can I take it home? No, because we don't have, I can't put that in the register, and they don't know what to do. And then that story ends. I had a really good feeling, and now let's do something spontaneous. I want to take this home. You can't take this home. Why not? Corporate. Okay. And then that ends, right? So I think, I don't think stealing is a good thing, but I think wanting to steal something that's supposed to be stolen, that is a good thing.
Is there anything in your personal experience or something you've seen in another brand where you were like, that's not going to take off at all, and then it did? And then how did it reflect in media?
Crocs is a good example. I looked at it, I was like, no fucking way. I don't care how much money you put behind this, it's never going to work. But that's the beauty of the world. It's, you can predict whatever you like, but there will always be a contra movement. There's always someone who thinks the exact opposite of you, loves the exact opposite of you, or just loves setting the world on fire, right? I think a lot of people who wear Crocs do it as a protest. And that's fine, whatever reason it is, right? And that's also brand love. If that feels like love, then you should do that. That's totally fine. So usually to me, it's aesthetically non-pleasing things that I just don't understand why they work. But the fact that they are aesthetically non-pleasing usually is the fact that they work. So the opposite of everything you think can be successful, literally. Cool. Any other questions? This is fun. Then thank you all.
Running a hotel, you need one thing above all else: guests. And if you want to offer your guests the best service at the best prices while remaining as profitable as possible, then you need optimized revenue management.
Market conditions are getting tougher by the day. Constant competition forces you into many dependencies: employee turnover, increasing cost pressure, and adapting to a rapidly changing world.
If you want to sell your hotel rooms at the best possible prices in the future, you need new approaches to your revenue management.
This is the moment we would like to introduce you to our TET synergy. Sounds scientific, I know, but it really isn't. What we mean is the combination of our highly qualified teams, decades of experience, and modern technologies which we put to work for you every single day.
We ensure that you can increase your sales in any market situation, reduce your costs, and thus secure your success in the long term.
An individually tailored growth strategy for your hotel enables you to maintain full control in any given market situation and sustainably optimize your performance.
TET Synergy gives you the assets you need to prepare your hotel for future challenges. Optimization, success, and security are the top priorities at Hotel Partner. The team is the foundation on which your success is built.
Ich habe das Gefühl, jeden Tag Neues zu lernen und weiß es zu schätzen, dass ich meine Vorschläge und Ideen in so vielen Bereichen einbringen kann.
Der Ansatz von Hotelpartner, Hotels aktiv zu unterstützen, statt nur Technologie bereitzustellen, hat mich sofort abgeholt.
Durch die teils jahrelange Zusammenarbeit mit den Partnerhotels entsteht eine Verbundenheit und man gibt alles, um die Ziele zu erreichen.
Und trotz der verschiedenen Standorte bilden wir insgesamt ein einheitliches Team, was eng in allen Bereichen zusammenarbeitet.
Seit bereits 17 Jahren begleiten wir Hotels durch die verschiedensten Marktsituationen, optimieren ihren Logierumsatz, senken die Kosten, erhöhen dadurch den Gewinn und sichern damit die Zukunft und das Wachstum ab. Wenn Sie wissen möchten, wie das für Ihr Hotel funktionieren kann, dann lassen Sie uns miteinander sprechen.
Hotel Partner, your revenue management partner for optimization, success, security.
davon muss man
Running a hotel, you need one thing above all else: guests. And if you want to offer your guests the best service at the best prices while remaining as profitable as possible, then you need optimized revenue management.
Market conditions are getting tougher by the day. Constant competition forces you into many dependencies. Employee turnover, increasing cost pressure, and adapting to a rapidly changing world.
If you want to sell your hotel rooms at the best possible prices in the future, you need new approaches to your revenue management.
This is the moment we would like to introduce you to our TET synergy. Sounds scientific, I know, but it really isn't. What we mean is the combination of our highly qualified teams, decades of experience, and modern technologies which we put to work for you every single day.
We ensure that you can increase your sales in any market situation, reduce your costs, and thus secure your success in the long term.
An individually tailored growth strategy for your hotel enables you to maintain full control in any given market situation and sustainably optimize your performance.
TET Synergy gives you the assets you need to prepare your hotel for future challenges. Optimization, success, and security are the top priorities at Hotel Partner. The team is the foundation on which your success is built.
Ich habe das Gefühl, jeden Tag Neues zu lernen und weiß es zu schätzen, dass ich meine Vorschläge und Ideen in so vielen Bereichen einbringen kann.
Der Ansatz von Hotelpartner, Hotels aktiv zu unterstützen, statt nur Technologie bereitzustellen, hat mich sofort abgeholt.
Durch die teils jahrelange Zusammenarbeit mit den Partnerhotels entsteht eine Verbundenheit und man gibt alles, um die Ziele zu erreichen.
Und trotz der verschiedenen Standorte bilden wir insgesamt ein einheitliches Team, was eng in allen Bereichen zusammenarbeitet.
Seit bereits 17 Jahren begleiten wir Hotels durch die verschiedensten Marktsituationen, optimieren ihren Logierumsatz, senken die Kosten, erhöhen dadurch den Gewinn und sichern damit die Zukunft und das Wachstum ab. Wenn Sie wissen möchten, wie das für Ihr